friends, I'm Akash, and this is your News of the Week for the week of January 8th to January 15th, 2022. I'm Akash Cody, and let's get right into the headlines. We begin with the COVID-19 reaching record case rates due to the rapid rise of Omicron. Now, this is major news that is changing the world so quickly, and I'm going to be talking more about this in just a second. But first, the Supreme Court rules on two cases regarding Biden's COVID-19 mandates. These are very, very controversial rulings that the Supreme Court has given out, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But first, our last story of the week: an apartment fire in the Bronx in New York City has left 17 dead and 44 injured. And not only that, 8 out of those 17 were children. This is a really, really tragic situation going on right now in Bronx, in the New York City, as we speak, and I'll be covering it very soon. But first, that's all your news of the week, so let's get right into the further details. So we begin with COVID-19 reaching record cases that we've never seen before due to the Omicron variant. 2.8 million cases worldwide, and we're probably going to be reaching 3 million worldwide in pretty much the next week. Over the past few weeks, COVID-19 cases have skyrocketed to levels we haven't seen ever before. I'm talking 2 to 3-fold the previous records. And this is due to the fact that Omicron is one of the most contagious variants of COVID-19. Now, in America at least, we're reaching almost 1 million cases. And although as of now, the cases are rising up rapidly like that, the deaths seem to not actually have caught up just yet. And as you can see, the death decreasing is actually going on instead of increasing. As of now, we're seeing 6,000 deaths worldwide. Roughly 2,000 of those are from America. But then again, this doesn't mean that the deaths will always stay this way. I mean, if anything, the cases will come a significant amount of time before the deaths of that wave start rising up as well. So I guess we'll just have to expect that this is also going to result in a massive uptick later on in the next few weeks or so. And, you know, the cases are just skyrocketing everywhere. And so are the hospitalizations, where there's a surge of them, 130,000 in the USA, 23,000 ICUs. And by the way, this is actually the max capacity, or nearing the max capacity for ICUs, at least here in America. And past this, it will come down to rationing. And this is a very scary and dangerous, very treacherous place to be in. So this is what Omicron has forced this whole situation into, nearing running out of ICUs. And from there, things will be a lot more scary. So make sure, everyone, to be as safe as humanly possible, because right now, things are not going so well. But all hope is not lost, because President Biden and his administration have been working on various new measures and practices to put into place in order to help stop the spread of COVID-19. And one of these new things that he's unveiling is the free at-home, over-the-counter COVID-19 test kit. Now, this at-home COVID test kit is going to be coming out and rolling out across the country around from now, today on Saturday, all the way over until Wednesday. Now, this is something that's been going on for quite a little bit, and it's only now that we're finally getting it. But it's a good thing, because hopefully this should allow some people to, help and make sure that they're safe from COVID-19 without having to actually go to a test site to actually get tested for themselves that way. Now, these test kits are available in a pharmacy or other retail store, or you can just order one online. Now, this is what's going on right now, but that is what's going on with the COVID-19. Cases are skyrocketing everywhere. Now, as of now, we're seeing, a lot of other Biden mandates coming in, and the Supreme Court very recently ruled on a few of these. So on January 13, 2022, the Supreme Court ruled on 2 of these Biden COVID-19 mandates. And this is what the Supreme Court had to say. For the first case, this was on the OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Association. And OSHA is basically the U.S. department or agency that primarily focuses on employees and employers and to help keep the working situation just fine. Now, very recently, OSHA has been planning to implement a sort of mandate that is going to require the employers to make sure that their employees are either vaccinated fully or that they take a COVID-19 test weekly. So this is something that President Biden has been pushing for with OSHA, and the Supreme Court said that OSHA had no authority at all to have this employee mandate set, and so it pretty much voided that entirely. So that one was practically thrown out the window with the Supreme Court case. But let's take a look at the second one, where we have much the opposite story. And, well, you'll see what I mean. See, take a look. The Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, has pretty much been doing the exact same thing regarding its staff who work with the Medicare and Medicaid. And so these staff members have, for pretty much quite a while now, have been required to get the vaccination or weekly testing. And so this, again, now, instead of OSHA controlling this section, it's the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS. And in this scenario, the Supreme Court said that as HHS is literally the health department, that they now have the full control, that they do have the real authority to put this employee mandate in place for their workers only. So in this case, the Supreme Court said, yes, go ahead, this works. So this is the situation. So for OSHA and for employers nationwide, it doesn't really matter if they choose to take care of themselves with COVID-19 vaccinations or testing or not. But over in HHS, it is pretty much required, and the Supreme Court has decided to keep it. Now, the second part, that's pretty good. It's a good thing that the Supreme Court said that the HHS mandates can keep going. But the first one, with OSHA, it doesn't really make sense. But this is heavily controversial, as, some Republicans are saying that the first one, the OSHA authoritylessness, was actually a pretty good step to, freedom from COVID-19 mandates. This whole thing has kind of raised a lot of questions. The first bit, with the OSHA being denied the employee mandate, has been very much received with a lot of confusion and questioning, because the HHS got it just fine. And some Democrats are talking about the hypocrisy that lies beneath. And this is what's going on right now. Now, with that out of the way, we'll take a look at our final story of the week. And this is all about the Bronx apartment fire. There was a fire in a high-rise apartment building in New York City, and specifically in the Bronx borough. And this left 17 people dead, this fire. 8 of whom were children, and 44 people were injured, with 12 of those suffering from very bad burns. The emergency operations to help rescue those still trapped in this event are currently ongoing, and this is major what's going on right now. This fire seems to have been caused due to a space heater, and yeah, from there things just started going up all over the place. There's major errors with this building's construction, and it's failed multiple inspection checks in the past. Like, the fire alarms and carbon monoxide detectors are out of date. They don't work. There's just a lot of mold on the walls. In some cases, they even use lead paint on the walls. I don't know why you'd use lead. And then there's also just so many broken doors, and the whole place is absolutely terrible. One resident even said that there were so many dead rats there. It is a terrible conditions. And, you know, in hindsight, it seems inevitable that something like this was going to happen. But then again, hindsight is 20/20 vision, and so this is kind of expected now that we see it. But now this event has occurred and it's dealt a lot of damage. 17 people being dead, 44 injured. Everyone who died because of smoke inhalation, and roughly a dozen of those who were injured were critically injured. And this is due to very bad burns as a result of the fire. So this shows a very important lessons in safety, especially when it comes to apartments and, you know, fires. And, you know, none of the actual major things that should have been in place just weren't there in the first place. And that is all of your news of the week for the week of January 8th to January 15th, 2022. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in another News of the Week. Goodbye.